As the workers of the unions of the aviation sector commence a two-day warning strike, air travelers across Nigeria will have to seek for an alternative route to reach their destinations. Development, as reported, is coming against the backdrop of what the workers described as unpalatable, their working conditions and entitlements. As such, the workers are demanding the approval and implementation of the condition of service as was agreed between them and the Salaries, Income and Wages Commission. Also, the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation and other agencies. Other grievances are the non-implementation of the minimum wage, consequential adjustments and arrears for the Nigeria Meteorological Agency (NIMET) since 2019, and the planned demolition exercise of all the agency buildings in Lagos by the Minister of Aviation for an Airport City project. The program therefore seeks to address issues around the industrial action by the aviation workers. I am your carrier, Clinton. Welcome to Nigeria Today. I am joined by Dr. Godi Ike, aviation researcher and publisher. You're welcome to the program.
I asked you to keep away from that doctor thing.
Okay, Godi Ike.
Yes. Yes.
All right, we'll just start. You have the introduction there. Okay, given the disposition of the the unions, what do you make of this the strike action? Are their demands justifiable?
Very, very justifiable. As a matter of fact, it hurts me when I sit back and watch our beautiful nation behave the way we do when it comes to serious-minded issues. If we understand that these various bodies managing the aviation sector constitute the lubricants required to oil the wheel of progress in the aviation sector. If we realize that as a people and as a government, we would never create this kind of room where they threaten to go on strike. And what more, thinking about the unthinkable, allowing them to go on strike. And if we understand what aviation is all about, we should never let this sort of thing be happening. And how can anyone explain that various government agencies with respective assignments to help this nation grow, to help the economy of the nation grow, would have conversations and discussions, civilized discussions with groups giving services, and 5 years, 6, 7, 8, 9 years running, no agreement reached has been implemented. What sense does that make? And so I think they have been patient enough. If they choose to disrupt things right now, they're not to blame. However, let's see what happens, because I understand that a few private agencies are doing everything they can to ensure that they don't embark on the strike. But yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, joining us also via Zoom is Francis Akinjoli, General Secretary, Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria at SAN. Good to have you with us.
Good evening.
Now, I know quite a lot of reasons have been given by your unions as regard the strike. and of course the other, other issue. I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to believe that will be, I believe the issues will be resolved before we get to that point. But tell us more. What are the contending issues here?
Good evening once again, and thank you very much for having me. And actually, this is one of the reasons why we even embark on the strike, because it appears nobody is listening to us. The contending issues are not new. If you check the notice we put out for this strike, we attempted to alert the public that we have been merry-go-rounding the same issue for upward of like a decade. Even some of them are more than a decade. 13 years we have there. The least is 9 years that we have been struggling to have a condition of service reviewed for each of our agencies where we have memberships. We don't know what the aviation workers have done to deserve this kind of a treatment. When we sit with management of these agencies to review conditions of service, they say they will take it to the Salaries and Wages Commission to examine the financials, after which it is transmitted to the head of service for the administrative and whatever, and given back to us to become operational. We have concluded these reviews with our agencies long time ago. I can remember, like NCA, we concluded it around 2016, the review of the whole conditions of service, and it was transmitted. Likewise, every other ones. But we don't know why Salaries and Wages are still sitting on it. When we issued a notice of strike sometime around 2019, we actually join this together with other issues for NCAA alone, and the Minister of Aviation promised that he was going to get to the root of the matter. He actually led us to the Salaries and Wages, where he pleaded, it is only we are going to have it tomorrow. And in 2022, similar thing happened. We issued a notice. That was when the issue of consequential adjustment to the salaries, which was a result of the struggle for the national minimum wage. We were summoned after the apprehension of all our demands by the Minister of Labour. We were called to Abuja. The Minister of Aviation was there. All the heads of the parastatals was there. Salaries and Wages, head of service, everybody was there. Around 2 a.m., we reached a truce that we should not embark on the following day strike. The strike was scheduled for the following day. That everything will be resolved. That was in February 2022. That it will be resolved by the end of March. We agreed, and we told our members the outcome of this meeting. Yes, they did try to do some things about the consequential adjustment. At least they departed from the initial position that aviation workers were not entitled to it. They granted 10% across board for everybody. As I speak with you today, some of our members are still not enjoying it. NIMET is still there. AIB has not started enjoying it. Even those that are enjoying it, if you see the way that they are doing this thing, you will have maximum pity on us. Condition of service, nothing practically has happened to it. Nothing. And we issued another ultimatum in January. But because of what we were expecting, election, then we stood everything down after the expiration of the 14 days ultimatum. We issued the 7 days. The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Aviation called us to Abuja, and he also promised that he will he will try his possible best and make sure that everything is resolved by the end of March. It's like March has now become a golden month. After the end of March, we did not even hear anything from them. That was when we now issued strike notice of strike to them. And they still felt that everything we have been doing is inconsequential. Until the last day, that was a day before yesterday, when they said we should rush to Abuja 1 o'clock on Sunday. We had our own meeting slated. We had mobilized our members because our members have started stoning us, saying that we have compromised. So we couldn't honor the meeting in Abuja, but when they saw our letter, response to their invitation, they decided to do it on Zoom. We joined them on Zoom. What did we bring even out of that meeting? Is plea that we should sheath our sword. On what? Our members were waiting. All they want to hear is that this is their reviewed conditions of service, which is not forthcoming. And there can never even be any guarantee from our Ministry of Aviation. So when we got back to our meeting, we told our members this report, and they said, this is how they have been playing us for years. That was why you found us on the streets today. And that is why the aviation activities were disrupted today. We sincerely empathize with the public. But if we did not do this, perhaps nobody will know what we are facing in the aviation industry. Because it's like the Ministry of Aviation itself is overwhelmed by the antics of the salaries and wages. We don't know why.
Like we've lost him there. Godi, you heard all he said.
Yes.
I understand. I sympathize with him. But then, is strike the answer? Are there no other avenues? Can you explore any other, other avenues, before, because strike?
UK, I'm shocked and surprised that you are so wondering. You heard him. He stated graphically everything they did in the past.
But he just mentioned that they were even pleading with him, with them.
No.
I think 2 days ago.
When you plead, you do so responsibly, not to trick and cheat. It's becoming a culture in our society that when people smile at you and ask you, oh, please pipe down, this will be done tomorrow and that will be done next tomorrow, and then you buy this story, you end up realizing that a fool has been made out of you. It's becoming a culture, and we must kill that culture. It doesn't develop us. It doesn't make us a better nation. It doesn't make us better people. We must learn to keep to the tenets of the laws. We must learn to be responsible with our words. When we say them, we mean them. If you're joking, you announce at the end of it that, oh, that was a joke. And everybody will understand that what you've just said is nothing to be taken seriously. Well, if it's stated seriously, it should be seen to be serious. And it should be implemented to the letter. This is what has kept us down as a nation and as a people. And the war, it's made us a laughing stock of the world. And it has to come to an end. I really get very deeply hurt when I see things like this going on in a nation, because, to tell you the truth, it's rubbing off on every one of us. It's rubbing off on you. It's rubbing off on me and everyone else that thinks he or she is responsible. How can a responsible government and government agencies have negotiations with groups handling a very important sector as the aviation sector? Perhaps people who are running this system do not understand the role of aviation in the economy of any nation, not just Nigeria. Because if we do understand it, we should never, under any circumstance, joke with anything that has to do with aviation, because it's the fastest way, the easiest way to move around goods and services. You know, building the economy of this nation cannot happen without a healthy aviation sector. And so, when you reach agreements with groups, for goodness sake, it makes sense that those agreements are kept and within the timeline set out. But I see that we love to take things for granted. You make promises, you reach agreements with people, even in private business. That's why I said it's beginning to look like culture, and we must kill that culture because it's not helping us and it's not advancing us as a people and as a nation. And so the language that those who are running the aviation sector who seem to understand now is this language of grounding everything. And I think it makes sense that they took up a fight, because how can you explain it? 9 years of conversation and discussion and agreement? No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, Godi, I understand your sentiments there, but I also know that it's not just peculiar to the Nigerians alone. Other countries who have issues also. Now, what do you expect, or what do you think the authorities and the government should do to avert further action? Because now we are now in the warning strike, but it could.
Yeah, we love fire brigade. We seem to love fire brigade. Did you hear his story? When they now announced 2 or 3 days ago that they were going to go on strike, they were invited to Abuja, although they couldn't make it. And you can imagine, if they were to make it, somebody would have paid their tickets, somebody would have paid their hotel bills, or unnecessary expenditure that should never have come up if things were done in the appropriate manner. They were set out to be done. The bottom line of all this, UK, is we must learn to conduct ourselves responsibly as a people, as a nation, and then in respect from amongst ourselves and respect from the world out there. We just can't go on the way we are doing now as a people and as a nation. When we say it, we must mean it. And if we mean it, there's a timeline set out for everything that's been discussed. Part of responsibility, living a life of responsibility, is ensuring that that timeline is kept. Nothing should be taken for granted. And so, if those concerned and those who are running the aviation sector now know that we can't afford to have the planes sit on the ground, everything must be done to show sincerity and to show some good level of seriousness, that if these individuals and groups decide to call their strike off, then every promise made must be kept to the letter and within the timeline agreed. That's all that makes sense.
Okay, Mr. Francis, now I know you've given a kind of a chronicle of how you've been you started all this journey and how far you've gone till date. But is there a possibility that there still could be an opportunity to a little more time to explore other avenue to avert further action?
Well, thank you very much. We are very, very open. We are aware that salaries and wages are slated and scheduled a meeting for tomorrow with the agencies, but we cannot place any serious premium on that. The agencies will attend. We'll be awaiting the outcome of their meeting. But on a very serious note, I think it is also important for me to briefly delve into this. Why all this were going on, there was an introduction of element of threat in our relationship with the Ministry of Aviation by the minister himself. Instead of them to do what they ought to have done, what they were attempting to do is to surreptitiously inject a very, very obnoxious clause into the Aviation Act by saying that aviation is an essential commodity where there must not be strike. Yes, they say there must not be strike. It is because they know what they are doing and they don't want us to talk. They don't want us to complain. Now listen to the minister saying that he was going to demolish the headquarters in Lagos, headquarters of the agencies, FAN, NAMA, NCAA, in Lagos. And because he wants everybody to go to Abuja. We are not saying no. We are not saying don't relocate your employees to Abuja. But you need to put some things in place. What about the one that demolished a year ago, AIB? What have they done about it? We have many of our members jettisoned to home services. They said they should be working from home. That is tantamount to redundancy. What about those that are in Abuja? They did not pay their relocation allowances. Some of them obtained loans to get residential houses for themselves. At the expiration of the loan, they were looking for another loan. And now you say you want everybody to go to Abuja without any befitting office for them in Abuja. Why do they want to demolish all these places? In how many days do they have left if there is no hidden agenda? We are going to resist this if they don't do the needful before they start subjugating our people to untoward hardship. So they will leave what they ought to do and face something else because they have considered us as inconsequential in the scheme of things.
Mr. Francis, just hold on there. Okay, even what if, or even if the authority cannot meet all your needs, what you know at the same time is okay. So where should be your meeting point, you know, to enable you shave the strike?
Well, as we have said, we have not embarked on a full-blown strike. What we are doing is a warning. So we still have ample of opportunity for them to, this thing, for them to release it doesn't take them more than a day. They had come to Lagos after the February 2022 incident. They came to Lagos, salaries and wages. They sat with us, they checked the books, and they discovered that the agencies were capable of paying. They had the capacity to pay. So what else are they waiting for? Is to release this document. They can do it in one day. So after tomorrow, after the strike and the warning strike of tomorrow, they will have this. But if they fail to, I don't see any genuine meeting point. You cannot continue sitting on the condition of service. Conditions of service is like a Bible and Quran for workers. It guides our relationship. Unless if someone is suggesting that we should do away with it. Or is it the consequential adjustment? Is it the consequential adjustment that we should foreclose? No. These are very, very simple and straightforward demands. We are not even asking for increase in salary now. We have negotiated. We have reviewed the condition of service. If you have any problem with it, why didn't you say it? This is game. And
Francis, thank you very much. Got it. So in this situation, what in your opinion is the best way out of this situation?
Oh, well, the good news in this whole thing is that this is only warning. If they decide to shut down the airport only for tomorrow, it will hurt, but not too much. And then we have another week or two to do the needful and have them, stay peaceful. And so I think government should take advantage on this, all the agencies concerned with this whole thing going on, and especially the Honorable Minister Hadi Sirika.
Okay.
He will need to sit up and ensure that this doesn't happen, because aviation is a sector that should be taken seriously.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's it on Nigeria Today. But before we go, we'd like to appreciate our guests for making our time to be with us and sharing their thoughts on the matter. So I want to thank Godi Ike, aviation researcher and publisher. Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, thank you very much.
And also Mr. Francis Akinjoli, General Secretary, Air Transport Services, Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, ASAM. Thank you very much for your contribution. And to you, our viewer, we just want to say thank you for always being there. Don't forget Nigeria Today air weekdays at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can watch this and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Thank you for watching. I'm your carrier, Clinton. Hope to see you tomorrow.